Hi everyone. We begin this newscast with Remembrance Day celebrations across Commonwealth nations. It's Diversity TV, bringing you the first bilingual edition of the Untold Stories for the week of November the 12th, 2021, from our River Valley studio in Edmonton, the beautiful capital city of Alberta in Canada. Hosted by me, Emi Batoum, sponsored by Razy Plumbing and Heating, now offering fantastic deals for water heaters and furnaces. Here are our bilingual headlines for this week. One route, two cities, different horizon. In the first motion moved through council, two mayors with the same heritage go two separate ways. Mayor Gondek of Calgary turns green, while Mayor Sohi of Edmonton goes racism. CANAVUA is calling for support in the form of volunteers and funds to keep feeding thousands of Edmontonians every week this winter. CDEA Launches REGANA, a Black Entrepreneurship Program to help establish and expand businesses. And the question of the week is, should other countries follow France to not only return African cultural treasures, but to also pay royalties for the time spent in their museum? Now, the news in detail. Segment 1. In her past life, she helped businesses with their corporate social responsibility. Recently, she campaigned on leading Calgary take action on climate change. And now, as mayor, Jyoti Gondek's first action was to put forward a climate change emergency motion.
My vision for Calgary means that it is a place where anyone is welcome. And everyone is invited to make this place home, to run a business, to take on any type of employment they wish to, and to live in a great community that they can contribute to. And I think we do that by creating an image of Calgary that says we are a center of excellence for a transitioning economy and a transitioning society, a place where you can come and help us be innovative in how we become more sustainable, cleaner, and greener, how we become more progressive.
Let us turn some pages of Calgary's environmental history. Recently, Calgary faced some environmental disaster that can be attributed to climate change, such as floods and hailstorms. Unlike Edmonton and Vancouver, Calgary has not declared a climate change emergency. This climate change emergency push is happening during a time when the COP26 UN Climate Change Summit is going on in Glasgow, Scotland. We invited Joe Vipon from the Calgary Climate Hub, who has been campaigning for Calgary to take action on climate change, to tear through this topic for us. We want to know from Joe how an average person on the street is affected by climate change.
The new mayor of Calgary has said that they were going to declare a climate emergency at City Council. This is something that's been done in hundreds of cities across Canada, most notably in Alberta, in Banff, and in Edmonton. And basically why it's important is that if we understand that there is a crisis in our climate, in our atmosphere, that can underpin strong actions, policy actions that will allow our governments to start to steer the ship in a decarbonized way so that we avoid some of the worst impacts of our warming climate. Longest time when we talked about the climate crisis, we talked about polar bears, we talked about frogs and rainforests, and that was very difficult, I think, for the average person to understand. But now we're starting to understand that there's so many impacts on our health, on our safety. It can be anything from major weather events like severe storms, flooding, fire events like we've seen we're currently in Western Canada. It can be things like the heat dome that impacted BC and Alberta, leading to the worst weather-related mortality event in Canadian history, with over 650 deaths in these two provinces. It can be things like food security, where we don't, where our agriculture systems can't cope with the amount of change, and therefore we are unable to grow the amount of food that we need to support 8 billion people on this planet. And it can lead to mental health problems, mental health like anxiety about the future that we've created for our children and ourselves, and grief about losing some of the most beloved spaces that we as humans, we fill our soul with. Mountains and prairies and oceans that we really love, and suddenly they're threatened. So there are so many health impacts and so many personal impacts on people.
On the other side of Alberta, Mayor Emi Sohi of Edmonton, who has faced racism himself even at the doors while campaigning for mayor, made tackling racism his first motion. It was a unanimously voted motion directing Edmonton administration to put together a strategy to tackle racism in Edmonton.
And that is the experience of many, many people in our city. And that is the reason that I brought it forward. And I'm touched by many comments from council members. And we're going to have very healthy conversations around this. When I think about anti-racism work, I don't focus much on punishment. I don't focus much on, yes, you need to hold people accountable. But we also need to bring people together with us. As Councillor Knack was mentioning, that person probably, who thought that way, felt that he has license to talk that way. But how do you bring that person along on this journey? That we build a society, a compassionate Edmonton for all of us. So this is a very important work. But racism is also intersecting. You cannot tackle it by tackling it alone. You need to tackle issues around poverty. You need to tackle issues around trauma. And you need to tackle issues of colonization that Indigenous communities have faced for centuries, and issues around lack of housing and all those things that we will be tackling as a community. So I really, I hope that all of us will be able to support this motion, and I look forward to the report from administration on actionable things, but also long-term strategy that we continue to move path on this journey together.
Segment 2. Fashion and beauty time on Diversity TV. Our hosts always look fabulous. You just look at me with eye-catching mami water hair, right? Do you want to know why? Okay, let me get you into our little secret. The magic is done by Quick Fix Hair and Beauty Supply on 10422 118 Avenue Northwest in Edmonton. You may want to talk to someone at 780-802-1161. Segment 3. In our business news this week, CDEA launches REGANA, a Black Entrepreneurship Program, this weekend. In order to encourage and support the Black Francophone community in Alberta to develop their entrepreneurial dreams, attract investment, and create employment, the Conseil de Développement Économique de l'Alberta, known as CDEA, has set up the REGANA project, which will be launched on November 13 from 10 p.m. to noon. Karin from CDEA, tell us more about REGANA.
Regana, it's a program for Black entrepreneurs. So those who want to start a business, those who are already in the business, and we are launching this program. It's the main course of this program. The main part is for Black entrepreneur, and the difference of this program is that it's meant for everyone, for every entrepreneur, Black entrepreneur, no matter the age, no matter your status in Canada. Great. And we will be doing many workshops. We will be doing like a market, entrepreneur market. Mm-hmm. We will be doing like advertising. We will share some information about entrepreneurship.
Is really amazing because the solution is there, but yet ignored, right? And it may also be that because there's no formal, research, documented, evidence, around that. But right now, there's that opportunity. You can see the evidence all over the place. All the criticism, that went through to Dr. Henshaw was based on a lot of research, and all that this may not work. I've not heard anybody saying this will not work, but it's a gamble that the government has taken. Let's hope, cross our fingers, that gamble is not going to result into, something. So I don't know. I think looking at the future, I'm actually more interested in what are we going to do, right? Going forward. We can't look back anymore, but what are we doing going forward to set the stage, for success, to prevent something like this from happening in future? I think that's where I see where we should put our efforts, right? To make sure that, communities are safe.
Sam Obo on Straight Talk COVID and our people. So now, this is my question to you. Have you taken the COVID-19 vaccine? If yes, what made you take it? But if no, why not? Segment 5. What do we have for Diversity TV International News? Well, election is coming up in France, and the black votes are important for President Emmanuel Macron, who suddenly wants to restore African lost heritage and connect African kids to their story. This week, France has handed back 26 cultural treasures that were stolen from Benin during the colonial period. The return falls short of returning every African art stolen and paying royalties for the time spent in France museum.
My name is Ni Tayua Ukreja Koni. I am the founding member and the executive director of the Africa Diaspora History Library here in Edmonton, Alberta. This return to Africa, the artifacts or art artifacts, is important at so many levels. First, the artifacts are the cultural and political expression of the African people. It is based upon our artistic expression from ancient times that our ancestors left for it. If you recall, there are certain artwork that is about 50,000 years old. Some artifacts from the Dogon tribe of Mali, some from Angola, from Namibia, from Congo, from Nigeria. So the one from Benin is quite significant because Benin is known for bronze art. From the whole world, nobody can produce better artwork than Benin. In fact, they have started to lay the groundwork for accepting these artifacts and to make a place for them and to welcome them back home. The Lady Liberty, the statue of Lady Liberty.
Okay.
Look at how important that is. That piece It's concrete.
Yeah, absolutely. That is exactly what I was
If you
thinking
go there
about.
to the United States and you want to take out Lady Liberty, they won't let you. The U.S. Armed Forces will come after you. So think about some of these artistic expressions, the bronze from Edo State or Benin, and the bronze from Angola or anywhere. Think about what you've done to the people. Because most of those artifacts are expression of their belief systems. So when you take them away, what have you left for them?
Segment 6. What do we have for food this week? She eats his peppery sauce with everything. Wow! This week, we took a dive into the delicious, natural, locally made, locally sourced royal Tiso pepper sauce. It's in mild, hot, and extra hot flavor for the pepper eaters and non-pepper eaters due to the slap your mama in the face impact that it has on food.
I like to eat my royal Tiso with rice, white rice, nothing, because it tastes a lot better that way. I get to enjoy the flavor of royal Tiso quite easily this way. I just put a good chunk of it like that, then I mix it together. Then I eat just with the royal Tiso. No, that is good. It tastes so good. It's spicy, not too hot, just perfect with the rice. And there's no other thing in the rice to conflict the taste of the royal Tiso. So it makes life easy. Boil the rice and eat the soup.
Segment 7. What do we have for community announcements this week? Get to know some of the employment program offered by Solomon College in Edmonton. Please contact 780-431-1515 or info@solomoncollege.ca.
And I'm here today to talk to you about 3 employment programs that Solomon College delivers. The first is our Connections to Employment program, which focuses on preparing newcomers to work in the retail sector. Secondly, we have our Food Service Supervisor Preparation Program, which supports newcomers to develop skills to work in the food services sector. And our final employment training program is our Quest Key Workplace Essential Skills Training Program, which is designed to help newcomers build warehouse technology skills to work in the warehouse.
You can guess what you run out with when you visit the organization that feed thousands of people on an invisible budget, and I name CANAVUA. This week, we stopped by to learn more about the different programs CANAVUA offers, including feeding thousands of people and the challenges they face doing that. Executive Director Diki Dikamba tells us more at his office at La Cité Francophone in Edmonton.
At CANAVUA, primarily we are a non-profit organization enhancing volunteerism here in the Francophone community, but we are working with everyone. Not only Francophone. So we have a bunch of services with CANAVUA. And we are an organization providing food services, all kinds of food services. Like we have what we call the community food truck, CANAVUA community food truck. It's a food truck, so going around Edmonton in the neighborhood, giving free food for people in need. Anyone.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, anyone here in Alberta, you can receive free food every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 12 to 4 p.m. So we are sending message on our WhatsApp or on Facebook, showing people where we are, and people can attend and can show up and grab the service. So we have food hamper every Monday.
Oh, okay.
Every Monday we have food hamper. Every Tuesday we have bread.
Okay.
Every Friday we have fruit and vegetable for anyone here in Alberta. So, of course, we have partnership with Edmonton Food Bank, Community Food Center Canada, Second Harvest. That are the biggest in the network, combining food and security. And the CANAVUA is one of the big organizations here in Edmonton combining food and security.
Okay, yeah, we're going. For our English-speaking audience, voici les titres de ce journal. Une même terre, deux villes, à chacun sa vision. Dans la toute première motion soumise à leur conseil municipal respectif, deux maires partageant pourtant le même héritage ont chacun choisi leur voie. La maire de Calgary, Gondek, se tourne vers les changements climatiques, tandis que Sohi, le maire de notre magnifique ville d'Edmonton, déclare la guerre au racisme. CANAVUA a besoin de votre appui, tant comme bénévole ou alors sous forme de financement pour pouvoir continuer à nourrir des milliers de personnes à Edmonton cet hiver. CDEA Launches REGANA, un programme visant à promouvoir l'entrepreneuriat noir afin d'aider les hommes et femmes d'affaires issus de la minorité noire à créer et promouvoir leur entreprise. Et maintenant, la question de la semaine. Est-ce que d'autres pays devraient suivre l'exemple de la France, qui a non seulement retourné les trésors artistiques africains, mais a également payé des droits d'auteur et d'exploitation pour tout le temps que ces œuvres ont passé dans leur musée? Now, the news in detail. Segment 1. In her Bonjour, Monsieur Dikamba. Mon nom est Emilienne pour Diversity TV. C'est pour notre journal. Merci beaucoup de nous accueillir aujourd'hui dans les locaux de CANAVUA. Alors, après nous avoir dit qui est Monsieur Diki, qui est CANAVUA?
Okay. Merci beaucoup, Emilienne. Merci de nous faire participer à cette émission. Je m'appelle Diki Dikamba, je suis le directeur général de CANAVUA et j'en suis aussi en même temps le fondateur. Nous sommes un organisme de promotion et de valorisation de bénévolat dans la communauté francophone et en même temps aussi nous sommes un organisme de prestation des services alimentaires ici à Edmonton. Alors nous collaborons dans un réseau avec les banques alimentaires du Canada et puis d'autres partenaires qui sont des partenaires qui luttent contre l'insécurité alimentaire partout ici au Canada.
Ok, parfait. Alors, ça nous permet de comprendre qu'effectivement, CANAVUA, ce n'est pas que du bénévolat, c'est beaucoup d'actions aussi vis-à-vis de la communauté, comme les banques alimentaires. Alors, en dehors des banques alimentaires et du bénévolat, alors, quel autre service offre CANAVUA dans les communautés?
A priori, nous sommes un organisme facilitateur de la mise en relation entre les bénévoles qui sont à la recherche des missions bénévoles, permettez-moi un peu cette tautologie, et en même temps aussi, nous mettons en relation les bénévoles qui recherchent des missions bénévoles et puis les organismes qui recherchent des bénévoles. Alors, nous avons mis en place une stratégie qui puisse nous permettre à ce qu'on puisse recruter les bénévoles, les former et puis les envoyer sur terrain à travers plusieurs activités qu'offrent les organismes. C'est-à-dire, n'importe quel organisme peut recourir à CANAVUA pour avoir des bénévoles. Et notamment, nous avons ce qu'on appelle les fonds de casino avec Alberta Gaming Liquor Commission. Presque toutes les organisations ont toujours eu à recourir à des bénévoles. Et nous avons une base de données, nous avons des bénévoles qui sont formés et puis qu'on peut envoyer auprès de ces organisations pour des activités de casino. Nous avons aussi un autre service, un service qu'on appelle le navigateur en santé. Ça, c'est un service d'accompagnement des patients à leur lieu de rendez-vous médicaux. Et ce service est doublé d'un autre service d'interprétation si le besoin se fait sentir. C'est-à-dire que quand nous avons des patients qui veulent être accompagnés à l'hôpital, nous avons aussi des bénévoles formés et puis des interprètes formés qui les accompagnent à l'hôpital pour des rendez-vous avec des kinésithérapeutes ou bien n'importe quel rendez-vous avec l'hôpital. En même temps aussi, nous avons aussi un autre programme, un programme de formation d'apprentissage pour les permis de conduire. C'est-à-dire tous les francophones nouvellement arrivés en Alberta qui n'ont jamais eu de permis de conduire, ou soit les jeunes qui n'ont jamais eu de permis de conduire, nous on offre une formation de 6 heures. 6 heures de formation un samedi, de 8h à 14h, et quand on termine, on emmène tout le monde au bureau de registre pour passer l'examen. La matière elle est fraîche dans la tête, et puis ils passent leur examen, ils ont leur permis classe 7 le même jour, et ensuite on les réfère auprès des instructeurs d'auto-école pour qu'ils puissent avoir leur...
Bonjour Karine.
Bonjour Emilienne.
Merci beaucoup de nous accueillir aujourd'hui au CDEA pour nous parler de votre tout nouveau bébé que vous avez choisi de nommer le REGANA. J'espère que je le prononce très bien.
Oui, je le prononce très bien. Merci à Diversity Magazine et Diversity TV d'être là. On se réjouit de ça. Donc, le CDEA a le plaisir d'annoncer un nouveau programme qu'il va lancer ce samedi 13 novembre en ligne à partir de 10h. Ça s'appelle le REGANA. Le REGANA, c'est le réseau des entrepreneurs noirs francophones et des gens d'affaires de l'Alberta.
Ok, super. Vous avez déjà planté le décor parce que justement, je m'en allais dire que voilà, nous sommes Diversity TV et nous nous réjouissons aujourd'hui d'être ici. Et comme vous avez déjà planté le décor, alors en quoi consiste exactement le REGANA?
Le REGANA va impliquer tous les entrepreneurs noirs de l'Alberta. C'est-à-dire qu'il n'y a pas d'âge, les vieux, les jeunes. Donc, tous les entrepreneurs et les gens d'affaires qui sont dans les entreprises peuvent y prendre part.
Ok, parfait. Alors, quand vous dites que le REGANA va impliquer toutes les personnes de tous âges, alors est-ce que ça voudrait dire qu'en dehors du REGANA, vous avez d'autres programmes qui étaient spécifiques à des tranches d'âge précises?
Oui, nous avons le programme intégration entrepreneuriale réussie qui regroupe uniquement les résidents permanents. Mais le REGANA va être un peu plus large, donc ça va regrouper toutes les tranches d'âge, tous les statuts de résidents au Canada, que vous soyez résident permanent, citoyen, réfugié, tous les types de statuts.
Okay. Très bien, merci beaucoup. Alors, qu'est-ce que vous allez faire exactement dans le cadre de ce nouveau programme? Qu'est-ce qu'on peut attendre de vous?
Oui, ce nouveau programme, il est très intéressant. Donc, il est pour les entrepreneurs noirs. Nous allons, par exemple, avoir une cellule de veille pour les nouveaux programmes qui arrivent pour les entrepreneurs noirs. Donc, cette cellule-là va venir vous donner l'information aux entrepreneurs qui sont là. Par exemple, s'il y a une nouvelle subvention du gouvernement qui se met en place, cette cellule-là va veiller à ça. S'il y a de nouvelles réglementations qui sont mises en place, cette cellule va veiller à ça. S'il y a aussi des subventions qui sont là, si nous allons aussi avoir des ateliers, nous allons avoir des réseautages, nous allons avoir un marché, comme on dit, africain, pas africain mais noir, pour tous ceux qui vont venir exposer leurs produits, pour venir présenter leurs services. Parce qu'on se dit qu'il y a beaucoup d'entrepreneurs et gens d'affaires qui ont des produits, qui ont des services, mais qui sont mal connus. Ce marché permettra l'ouverture pour eux de présenter leurs services. Nous allons aussi avoir le mois de l'histoire des Noirs, où nous allons inviter aussi des entrepreneurs noirs qui sont bien établis à venir partager leur expérience, à venir témoigner des difficultés qu'ils ont vécues, et ça va édifier les autres entrepreneurs ou des personnes qui désirent simplement se lancer en affaires mais qui hésitent ou qui ne savent pas quoi faire.
That's all we had for you this week. Thank you for watching Diversity TV Community Newscast. Be the first to get our community newscast as it happens. Please Subscribe and hit the bell notification on our Diversity TV YouTube channel. We are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. Our website is www.diversitymag.ca. See you next week, because when it's Friday, it's your